and we are bringing you another community interview video today. And today we're going to be talking with Tel Darden of Nourish Resilience. She is a craniosacral therapist right here in Parkville, just a stone's throw away from our office. And we are going to try to connect the dots with chiropractic and craniosacral therapy and see how that might help you, and as well as the chiropractic care, and try to see, get some more details about what it's all about. So let's get started. So this is also a very timely piece, right? Because this is a new year, and this is the time of year when people are often making New Year's resolutions, and then right around mid-January, early February, we all kind of fall off the bandwagon, right? And everybody has high hopes at the turn of the year, saying, I'm going to do this, it's a fresh start, it's a new opportunity. And along those lines is the topic of self-care. You know, everybody wants to lose weight and exercise, eat better, diet, right? So they want to take care of themselves starting the new year. And then, 14 Twinkies later, we're off the diet, right? Right. So why does that happen? And how can something like craniosacral therapy be part of that New Year's resolution, be part of that self-care? So we're going to, kind of get into that a little bit. But first, let's talk about how it would kind of complement chiropractic, because a lot of our patients might be thinking, I'm already seeing a chiropractor. We understand that chiropractors are doctors of the nervous system, but craniosacral therapy also works on the nervous system. So tell us a little bit about that and how a chiropractic patient could benefit from craniosacral therapy.
Right, and it's such a great question, and I really like to think about it as chiropractic does such a beautiful job working with the bony structures, right? The framework of the nervous system, right. The bones, the ligaments, right? The skeletal system. That's really what's happening to help their clients come and have better health. And so it really is about the mobility, right? Yeah. How those bones are in relationship to one another and the other structures of the body.
Right.
And so craniosacral therapy, like you said, it also works with the nervous system, but it really is about the motility of the nervous system. And so mobility and motility are two different things. Mobility is really about how something moves next to its neighbors, and then motility is how something moves on its own. And every piece, every structure of our body has its own inherent motility, its own inherent movement. So your liver moves one way, your stomach moves one way, and your nervous system has its own beautiful inherent movement. So once clients come to see you and have their visit at your office, and then there's so much space that's created, right? Everything is back into alignment the way that it should be. They could come and see me, and we can really work with releasing any residual restrictions that may be held so that the motility of the nervous system can really reach its maximum health.
That's awesome. So I'm assuming that this would then help with things like stress.
Absolutely.
Because if our nervous system is functioning healthy, and then if all of our motility inside our organs and the blood and the fluid and everything else is functioning healthy, this would then reduce the stress on the nervous system in kind of an overall way. So I feel like this could be a really good thing for people with regards to self-care, because isn't that something that we're always preaching to each other?
Always.
You need to reduce your stress, you need to do yoga, you need to eat better, you need to exercise. That can reduce stress, and then it's kind of like looking at the speck in someone else's eye, and then we have a plank in our own. Like, this is really a good time for us to step back and say, what are we doing to manage our own stress? What are our patients doing? Anyone that's watching this video, what are you doing to manage your own stress? And how could, maybe using craniosacral therapy could be a step in that direction? So maybe a question that might come up along those lines is, okay, so I come to see you, I get my stress under control. I mean, how long do I have to go there? Am I going to have to be going forever? Is this like a maintenance regimen, or is this something that I just come to when I have an illness or when I'm overwhelmed? What type of treatment plans do you recommend?
Yeah, and so that's another, really, I get a lot of questions about that, right? Like, is it going to be forever is always, somebody's first question and concern. Like, how many visits do I need to come for? And that really depends on what kind of results, what kind of effects the person is looking for. So the beautiful thing about craniosacral therapy is that you don't have to be sick or have symptoms to come and benefit from the work, right? It
Right.
really relies on this idea that there is an inherent level of health in your body, in your system at all times. And the work really helps you get closer and closer to that with every visit.
Mm-hmm.
So some people do come because they are looking for a reduction or relief of symptoms.
Right.
And some people really just say, like, I love feeling like I'm coming back home to myself. I love feeling grounded and centered and just like I'm myself again. And that's why some people come. So there's really such a broad range of experience that this work can work with.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say, you know, I don't treat illnesses specifically, I treat life, right? I treat life experiences.
I like that.
So, and you know, and that really is a big piece of what chronic stress is, those life experiences that are overwhelming. And our bodies really have only a few different ways to deal with those overwhelming life experience, right? We can move into the stress response, right? Which is we can fight, like as if we're going to run away, or as if we're going to fight off a tiger, right? We can flight, we can go to run away, or we can freeze or collapse, right? And so there's those different patterns that I work with in the body through the nervous system.
Yep.
And so it doesn't really matter so much in this work what the story is, right? So if you go to see a psychotherapist, the story is at the core and the heart of the work.
Right.
But in this work, it really is about, okay, how did that story impact your body? And where are pieces of that story still being held in your body? And how can we sort of unlayer those life experiences? How can we unlayer that story so that you can come back to feeling more like yourself again?
Right. And we saw on your website that you also specialize in doing compassion relief work for like healthcare providers, right? So not just healthcare providers, you do it for anyone, but people that work with, you know, elderly, disabled people could all benefit from this because there's a burnout factor. Absolutely. Where those careers are often short. So this could be a really great, I mean, if anyone is a doctor or a nurse or a social worker or a counselor, any of those professions, every single one of those people should be in your office on your table on a regular basis just to kind of release that type of stress and lengthen their career. I mean, it could be a career changer for those type of people, right?
Yeah, and so I love working with healers, and I use that term really broadly, right? Anyone in the healthcare professions, anyone in the helping professions, those are the clients that I love to see because we just tend to carry the weight of the world a little bit more on our bodies and our minds, our hearts, and in our spirits, right? Those are life experiences that get layered onto us, right? The traumas and the hard times of other people, we tend to carry those.
Right.
And so, you know, it goes right back to self-care. It's like, what are we practicing what we preach?
Right.
And so we're always telling our clients, like, self-care is so important. Self-care is so important. I love talking about self-care, but at the heart of it for me, it's self-love, and it's our ability to receive and give to ourselves, because especially if we're healers or helpers, we're giving all day long to all of the people around us. It's so easy for us to give, right? It's like, I'm going to give to you, and I'm going to give to you, and I'm going to give to you, and at the end of the day, no, my cup is empty, but I'm good.
Right.
But that's not sustainable. And so making sure that we really have a solid and grounded self-care plan, even when we don't feel like there's time, even when we don't feel like we need it, even when we don't feel like we want to, recommitting to ourselves, right? And that's the self-love piece, right? Is critical so that we can have longevity in the careers that we have chosen.
Showing up is half the battle. Right?
Showing up is half the battle, and showing up for yourself can be one of the hardest things, right? So, you know, it really is about what is getting in the way of your capacity for self-love. What is getting in the way of your capacity to give to yourself? And once we get to the heart of that, once we clear that block, right? Once we realize where that piece is being held in your body, then self-care is effortless, right? It's not, there's no more, I feel so guilty and shameful because I didn't stick to my New Year's resolution. I didn't lose that 14 pounds and I didn't go to the gym every day. That shame around that kind of thing that can be perceived as a failure goes away because other pieces pop up and fit into our self-care routine, and we can be a lot more gentle and loving with ourselves.
Right. And let me just say, on a personal note, that this is one of the easiest resolutions you can keep and stick to, is coming to Tell's office. I have been a patient here for almost a year now.
Yeah, a few months.
More than a few months. And it is one of the things that I look forward to. And I know that I'm going to be grounded and I have more energy. And when I leave, like, so much changes in my mind and my body after each session. So let's talk a little bit about what is craniosacral therapy, because there might be a lot of people out there saying, I don't know about this, all this energy work weird stuff. I mean, this is rooted in science, and people often, used to think about chiropractic the same way. It was the voodoo medicine, but now there's enough scientific research to back it up, and of course it's paid for by insurance, so everybody's getting on board with it. Things like acupuncture and craniosacral therapy aren't, as well known. They're coming into play in Western medicine. Not as much. You're probably not going to get a lot of referrals from MDs at this point, because you're still kind of fighting an uphill battle. So let's give our viewers a little bit of information. What's the 1-minute version of how you would describe what craniosacral therapy is to someone who's interested?
Yeah, so for me, I really see craniosacral therapy as being a hands-on, gentle modality that works with the energy, fluid, and soft tissue of the entire body to help bring balance to the nervous system so that clients can experience a greater level of health.
Yeah.
The theory behind craniosacral therapy can be so vast, right?
Yeah.
And so really a lot of times we can work with the fluid level of the body, right? Like, how is fluid moving through the tissue, right? What's happening to that interstitial fluid? What's happening in the fascia, right? The fascia is that connective tissue. So, if clients or viewers at home aren't familiar, right? When you open up a raw chicken, it's that shiny layer underneath of the skin, right? And that's what connects our bodies. We have that too. And it's what connects our bodies head to toe, right? It wraps every muscle, it wraps every organ. It really has a lot of the fluid processes of the body move through the fascia in that way, right? And so sometimes we work with that, with where the fluid is and where the fluid isn't. And sometimes we work with the soft tissue itself, so muscles and ligaments and organs. And sometimes we work energetically too. And that's a part of the reason why it's so hard to get measurable, scientific, empirical data on the results, right? Because every time you come to see me, you're a different version of yourself.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, your energy is different. My stress level is different.
Yeah.
You had mentioned before about the story, and how it's not really relevant. Just to clarify, if somebody has, things that they in their brain or trauma from the past or anything like that, that does not have to be talked about. Like one of the things you said was that the body's response is the most important thing, and so you don't actually have to revisit that to experience the healing, which is a beautiful thing, which is another reason why I would say it's the easiest New Year's resolution you could do. Leave 2017 and every year before that behind you and find the healing and the homeostasis, that balance that your body so desperately needs. And I think the two, between chiropractic and the craniosacral, are such an amazing symbiotic relationship, because we remove those interferences in the nervous system so that the brain can communicate through the spinal cord to the rest of the body, and then the therapist, like you said, can increase the energy flow in the tissue and the fascia and the motility just with their hands, because there's no interferences. So that's really a beautiful thing. Who would you say would be like your ideal patient? Does someone, you said someone doesn't have to be sick, but like what type of patients do you typically see?
Yeah, so again, I really love working with people in the healing and helping professions.
Yeah.
That is my ideal client, because I really love when people feel like their work is to make the world a better place, right? Make their community a better place, make their family a better place. Then those are the people that I love supporting, right? Because I can't touch every single person in this world. I can't touch every single person in Baltimore. But if I can work with you, and then you can bring that new relationship that you have with yourself and the world forward to the people that you serve, then my impact is greater, right? It's quite a selfish purpose, but it's like, that is really where I feel like
it's an exponential pay it forward. Exponentially.
Yeah. And because I get it, right? We just carry more of it. And I love watching people become more compassionate, stronger forces for change in the world.
So we also understand that you have a background in massage and you teach massage. And so how would you say craniosacral therapy is different than massage? What should a new patient coming into your office expect? So how is it similar and how is it different?
Yeah, so I always say to new clients, right, it's the same in that we get to the same end result, right? Your stress levels are going to be decreased, you're going to have better sleep, you're going to have less muscle tension, less pain. All of those things are the same, right? The way that we go about it is different, right? It is a lighter touch generally than massage would be, and the work tends to be a little slower. So in an hour-long session, I really may only touch 2, maybe 3 parts of your body, right? And you keep your clothes on while you're in session. So that's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Clients stay fully clothed.
Fully clothed.
Yeah, and the work just tends to be a little slower. So it's especially great for folks who tend to have a little bit more sensitivity in their bodies and in their nervous systems, because it really is about honoring your body and listening to your body. Craniosacral therapists work for years to develop a really subtle palpation skill so that we can listen to what's going on to those deeper structures. And so because a lot of our work is based around listening, it's not about overriding it, right? And so massage is so great at soothing those tense muscles, right? Soothing any hypertonicities that might be around, and then really decreasing overall levels of stress. But at the end of the day, the thing that caused that muscle to be tight, that shoulder to be tight, that hip to be tight, unless you're getting to the heart of it, it's going to come back, right? And so the reason that I transitioned my practice into craniosacral therapy was because it was so great to be seeing my clients every week, but I really wanted to find something that would offer them longer lasting change. And so with the craniosacral therapy, I find that we really get to the heart of what's going on, the heart of that holding pattern in the body, and then create the conditions for the body to self-correct. And then the results are longer lasting for clients. So those are really big pieces that I feel like are
and I think it's a beautiful thing that you have the background in massage too, because everybody loves massages. Well, not everybody. Some people don't like to be touched. So craniosacral is a great option for that, because it's very, you respond to the invitation of the body. You don't touch what doesn't want to be touched, which is an amazing thing. So if someone is very sensitive to that or doesn't like to be touched, then craniosacral is definitely the way to go. But also the massage part, you know, I know in my own sessions there have been times when you've actually done some massage that has felt amazing, because it's usually toward the end of the session where I'm already completely at that complete stillness. I mean, if you can imagine your body being at ground zero without being asleep, you know, just complete and stillness, and then getting those muscles massaged, it's like you're in a different realm. So I think that's something unique that you have to offer compared to other craniosacral therapists. Craniosacral therapy can also be for children as well. I mean, I just, as a side note, we had our daughter as a baby. She had a tongue tie and a lip tie, and after having it cut, she was still not nursing well, and we had a lot of issues. And so we took her to a craniosacral therapist where it was just, she barely touched her. And I remember after the first session driving home, she stuck her tongue out and started sucking her upper lip for the first time. And within 6 sessions, she was nursing beautifully, and I was able to go on for 18 months. And I would not have been able to nurse without that. So I already knew, I didn't know how it worked, but I knew even as a new mom that it did work, even on a baby, and it was beautiful. So there's so many different opportunities for people to utilize this modality. Is there anything else you wanted to add for anybody that might be curious about craniosacral?
No, I think that really it is a modality that really honors the body, right? And it honors your experience, and that is first and foremost in every single session, right? What do you need, and how do we work with what your body needs without overriding it? How can we listen and support your body and help it find its way back to the health that it is meant to express, that you were meant to express? And
that's just great.
And the thing that I love, I think, the most about it is that when we find a different relationship with our bodies, then we can find a different relationship with the world. And those are the pieces that I love witnessing for clients as they change their bodies and their lives.
It is truly a healing experience. So we love that all the other practitioners that we refer to and we work with, that they're not just putting Band-Aids on the problems. And we have nothing against Western medicine in general. We think it has a place for sure, and can cure a lot of illnesses. But for most of what we're dealing with in everyday life, it does not address the root cause of those problems. So things like stress and chronic pain and a whole host of things that we see come through our doors every day, we really think this could be another connecting factor for you and your health, and you could get results much faster than just coming to chiropractic alone. So she's only 5 minutes up the road, so we're going to post her website and phone number here at the end of the video. And please give her a call or look at her website if you'd like to know more. And feel free to comment or share this video with anyone you think would be interested. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.